What's up, Black Star Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Jared. And guys, welcome to Black Star Podcast. Now, today we're going to be covering two subjects, and as you can see down below on the screen, it is the Black Star Podcast official website where I will be posting my thoughts on up and coming news and also on different subjects that's been going on in Manosphere that I do not cover. And also on the right side is the Cash App, but if you do not want to give to the Cash App, I'm not going to ask you for anything. It's just there just in case anybody decides that they want to tip your boy a little something here and there and every which way. But as I've stated before, this is only for people that want to actually tip. So, tonight's broadcast is going to be covering two topics, as I said before. When girls' trips go wrong, and also the migrants are being very disrespectful. Shout out to brother Big Hawk from the YouTube channel from Big Hawk's Yonkers native. Shout out to that brother. I peeped in on his live stream just a little while ago, and he was telling us about the migrant crisis in New York. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at that brother's a little bit of what that brother was actually talking about today. So we begin with a story. Damn, stop fucking playing. So what we're gonna start the day off with is this story that was just recently covered by Fox News, by Fox 23, by Fox 32, Chicago. Now this is about a grieving Chicago family that's struggling to bring their daughter home from overseas from a girls' trip. Now, I feel for this family, and I feel in my deepest heart, in the deep part of my heart, that they get their daughter back home. But this only comes to show you that you can't be friends with everybody that you go on the trip with. And here's why I say that. Ladies, when it comes to trips, you're going out with your friends. You don't know any of these people's motives. Just like you're afraid to go on a trip or go around a man that you do not know, you should feel the same way about your friends. And the problem is, a lot of you ladies have friends that are very jealous of you and are plotting on you. Not saying this is what happened in this particular situation, but I might not be able to actually play the video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually allow you to hear audio. So here we go, playing audio now.
Begin with a story you'll only see here from Fox 32. A Waukegan family is grieving after the sudden death of a loved one happened overseas. Fox 32's Gabriella Primus on the family's struggle to bring their loved one's body home in this exclusive story.
I'm very numb. I'm numb until I bring my child home.
video that I was going to play. Keep in mind, this is fair use, so we're going to be playing the next video. I'm playing the next video's audio. Here we go.
A Waukegan family is grieving after the sudden death of a loved one that took place overseas. Fox 32's Gabriella Primus on the family's struggle to bring their loved one's body home in this exclusive story.
The family is remembering a beloved daughter, sister, friend, and mother to 2 little girls. A farewell for a dream vacation has now become a fight to give her a proper goodbye.
I'm very numb. I'm numb until I bring my child home.
Kendra Harris has come to terms with the fact that her 26-year-old daughter, Justice, is gone. But she can't come to terms with the obstacles that prevent getting her baby home.
She was going on a girls' trip with her friends and family.
Justice never stepped foot on the tropical island of Bali. Instead, her family assumed she suffered a seizure and lost all vital signs on the way there.
She never came back. She never.
Alright, it's just playing the same thing over and over again. But what I want to say is this. If you have medical issues, especially when it comes to something like a seizure, why would you be willing to fly on a plane at 34,000 feet in the air? See, what I don't understand is this. We're seeing a lot more ladies going on these girls trips and stuff, but we don't necessarily hear any good experiences that a lot of these ladies are getting to. And the fucking crazy part is, a lot of these ladies will go on these trips, not think about the people they're going with. Now I'm not putting any blame on the friends, but the fact of the matter is that a lot of this could have technically been avoided if she would have been at home. If she would have had people around her that actually gave a damn about her. If she would have been at home and not trying to make the situation anything worse, but go on a girls trip. We all know what happens on girls trips, so that's not even a topic of discussion. We already know what happens. Instead of trying to just be a normal person, you go on a girls trip with friends instead of with people that you can actually trust, like your family. And now you've gone to the right upper room. I don't know what happened on that trip. I'm kind of even of the suspicion of somebody could have slipped a particular substance in her drink or anything, and could have did her in that way or something. The fact of the matter is that she had a seizure. There could be a multitude of different narcotics that could cause you to have a seizure at 34,000 feet in the air. Numerous narcotics. You necessarily don't even know what could be what. But just the fact of the matter is that you don't know. Then on top of that, I believe she has kids. So you might have a family or kids growing up without their mother. I don't know, that's a dangerous situation for me. But my heart truly goes out to that family, and I pray that they get her body back to the United States so that she can have a proper burial. Now, in other news, Big Hawk's talking about the migrant situation that's going on in New York City. Now, The problem is a lot of these people that are coming overseas are not necessarily going to be the best of the best, and they should be looked at as someone that could potentially be hostile towards Americans. Now, I'm not going to sit here and state that these foreign countries are sending the best of their people. I'm not even going to sit there and say that because we know that's not the truth. Some of these countries are sending the worst of the worst. They're not sending their best and brightest. They're sending the criminal class or the poor class. They're sending the class that the desperate worker class, if you want me to be honest here, willing to accept any little chunk of change for money. And the bad part is, you're hearing stories constantly coming out now about how these migrants are they're becoming ungrateful. I've heard stories to where these migrants are seeing their living condition and said, this is not acceptable. Why am I living in a tent or something that's like this instead of living in a 5-star hotel? There's been numerous people coming out saying that these people that are coming over here are wanting the top tier treatment, and they're not even working class, or they're not even providing anything to the States. They're only coming over here to catch a check and to go back to their country. Check this out. There's been a story circulating the news talking about how the migrants are coming over here and are getting the benefits that they're getting, giving them the money, and are turning around, going back on the bus to go back to their country. So what they're doing is, if you want to be honest here, they're stealing American money and going back to their country where they can live. So it's just a cash grab. You have politicians steadily giving out billions upon billions of dollars to these people, and they're coming over here and they're not providing anything other than their mouths to feed and their children to feed, taking resources so that they can go back to their country to build their own country up. And on top of that, the fact that a lot of these migrants are coming over here and they are aggressive. They're aggressive to the point where they want something for nothing. They're nasty. They're nasty with their attitudes. They're nasty with their words. They don't care about you as an American citizen. That's a taxpayer in this country that is paying for their benefits that they're coming over here to get. They don't care. They just want what the fuck they want so they can go back home, back to their country. And the problem is the U.S. is allowing this. See, I didn't get to go on Big Hawk's live and actually talk about this, but next time he goes live, I will. But the problem I'm seeing is you're allowing people that are below the economic standards and are just freewheeling them and allowing them to come in and take resources from your citizens that are paying taxes to fund this bullshit, when you could release the sanctions off of their country so that they can start importing oil into this country. That's the reason why all this is going on. See, the reason why Venezuelans are flowing into the U.S. is because they do not have a stable economy due to the fact that they have no industry in their country. Oil is the biggest industry in Venezuela. Oil. That part of the world has a large oil deposit. And check this out. If Venezuelans had the ability to sell their crude oil to the U.S., to other countries, they could be a potential economic powerhouse. Problem is, the U.S. the didn't see eye to eye to their leaders in Venezuela and decided to put sanctions, government sanctions on their country, which in turn caused them to have a unstable economy and political economy. If you really look at Venezuela, the reason why a lot of Venezuelans are fleeing is because their political theater is unstable. You have coups, you have military leaders not following policies or politicians and stuff like that. You have a unstable country that is burning down because there is no leadership, no trust in the government, and no economic stability in the country. So in turn, what does that cause? That causes people to flee. So where are they fleeing to? They are fleeing to the country that has the most resources in this hemisphere. What country is that? The US. Then the UK. But mainly the US. If not the US, if not the UK, Colombia. And a lot of Colombians don't like Venezuelans because Venezuelan women go over there and sell themselves to Colombian men, and their Colombian women are jealous of Venezuelan women, and it's causing a competition between the two races of women. And on top of that, they'll go down to Brazil to find work, and they can't find work. So they have to resort themselves to selling themselves, or I don't want to say this, but pimping out their wives because they can't find work. They're tired of being in economic turmoil. And what is that causing? That's causing them to flee their country because they cannot keep a stable government. They don't have a stable government that they can rely on to provide them policies so that they can actually live, or a stable government that will provide them an industry that they can compete in. But the problem I have with a lot of these people coming over here, they're coming over here and they're doing illegal things and are causing Americans more problems than what they're really bringing, what they're solving. And the government's allowing this shit to happen left and right. And the problem is, what's going to happen is Americans are going to get tired of this shit and start fighting back. I've heard people talking about Venezuelans are boosting stores up in New York. I've heard about them selling themselves up in New York. Town Square looks terrible, and I haven't even been up to New York. And if you want me to be honest here, I was thinking about doing a cannonball run one of these days. And if you don't know what a cannonball run is, look it up. I was thinking about doing a cannonball run in a Chevy Kodiak 45 or 5500 with expansion tanks, 6 expansion tanks running full on diesel. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. But the thing is, with this going on, I don't know if it would be safe for me to even do anything like that, especially coming into New York. See, what's happened is this government's allowed this shit to happen. This government's allowed a lot of this to happen, and the problem is they're allowing this to happen, and there's no leadership from top brass in the government. There's no leadership from Biden. There's no leadership from anybody. There's no background checks going on. There's nothing going on that's going to keep the bad people out and the good people coming. There's no work visas for these people. So these people are living on the streets, and they're getting the most benefits that Americans can't even get. If you want me to be honest here, what this is showing me is what's going to happen to the people that can't get on board with anything. Can't get on board with actually finding a lane. What's going to happen is you're going to get priced out of the market. You're going to get priced to the point where you can't afford to do anything. And this is only a first advancement. This is only a drop as to what could happen to American citizens. Tent cities, all that shit. The more and more this shit's going on, the more and more it's starting to become real. So what's going to happen with the war that's going on in Ukraine and in Palestine? And if Taiwan keeps getting teased by China, what's going to happen is it's going to be a full-out World War III. And the problem is that's going to create jobs for American citizens to work and supply, if you want to be honest here, supply the war effort, creating millions of jobs. It's all a power play. And what's happening is they want cheap labor to come in. And that's what they're seeing these people as. Cheap, uneducated labor. Which is what they're not, but they're seeing them as cheap labor. People that we can use and exploit until we get what we want, and then we can ship them all back to their country. While also still having in place tariffs and embargoes on their oil industry. Because think about it. If the U.S. lifted sanctions off of Venezuela starts selling oil to the U.S., Canada, Colombia, Brazil, they get hell. Guyana has an oil deposit near them that they're about to start dipping into. They could become the next Dubai or Saudi Arabia. Start selling oil to everybody across the world. Cheap Venezuelan oil. They could become the next, either if it's not Guyana, if the Venezuelans get the oil embargo and all that stuff lifted off of them, they could become the next powerhouse in oil. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of. Them using their power. But that's just me talking shit on the internet. I know I'm a musty back ass Negro on the internet just talking shit. But think about it. You know I'm telling the truth. But anyways, like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the podcast, Spotify.com. Again, if y'all want to donate to the Cash App or go look at the article that I just wrote on the website, go do that. I'll be posting a article soon. But again, like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the podcast on Spotify.com. Go local and fund it, actor. Bro, we already funded the shit. We already funded. But anyways, like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the podcast on Spotify.com. Again, thank you to my trusted moderator Hector. I will see you guys on the flip side and see you guys later. Bye guys.